So I know a lot of you guys have been kind of stuck in lower elo for a long time, and today I want to talk about how you can carry some games in Overwatch competitive at lower elos. Now I'm not going to say you can carry every single game because that's just kind of impossible. I mean, even if you look at certain Smurfs, they don't all have 100% win rates, and honestly, I can only help you guys so much. But still, even a little push in the right direction, I think, is a good way to start. Now, I would also say, before this video starts, that there is no magic way to get the highest win rate in the game. You will still have to put in a lot of time and a lot of practice, and I know by this point, a lot of people have kind of given up on doing that, but if you can make yourself get back into the grind, that's as well, one of the things that will eventually make so you can start to carry with your team once again. With that out of the way, though, guys, let's get started with 5 tips that I think are really important to carry your team in lower elo right now. So, the first thing I'm going to say that is very underutilized, that I use almost every game when I'm playing with my friends at a lower elo game, my Smurf or my main account or whatever, is, first off, typing out in chat what I want to do this game, and what I want my teammates to do this game. And, I don't type up a whole paragraph, but I'll probably type up 1 or 2 sentences saying, hey guys, Volskaya, let's push through the right room. Or, hey guys, Volskaya, let's go through the left room. I look at my team comp, see, is it close ranged? Well, maybe the left will be better. Or maybe we should just push up through the middle. Maybe we should go through the right. I look at what my team comp's doing. I look at what they need to position. And then I type it out in chat where I think we should be going. And while I am not listen to every single game, because there's a lot of people that will just do whatever the heck they want to, a lot of the times, at least 3 or 4 people will come with me, will follow me, and will make a good core of players that then we can continue to play off of. And I think that's very important, because in lower ranks, oftentimes, people just don't really play together. I think it's because people don't really know what to do all the time, and a lot of the times people in lower ranks have really good mechanics, or at least pretty good mechanics, but they're just wasting their potential. And if you're a person kind of rallying them together, making a good core play, and then, maybe in voice chat telling them when to go in after you've all grouped up in a good area, that can honestly win you a game by itself. If you can start up your team with good positioning, that's where it really starts. And maybe you don't know where the best positioning is right now. That's okay too. At least what you can start to do is call out where you think would be good positioning. And you go there with your team, or at least a few members on your team that are going to listen, and you see what happens. If it was completely terrible, well, you know better now, and you won't do that again, and it'll give you more information for the future. And if it did work, well, you can do that again. Look at your team comp, of course, to make sure that, it'll probably fit there again. But yeah, I think this is very important, and I never see this at all when I'm playing in these ranks. People just kind of do whatever they want. I know a lot of people are just kind of giving up on everybody in their rank. They think that everybody's just terrible, but that's not really how it is. A lot of people are pretty good. It's just they don't really know exactly what they're doing, and if you can figure that out yourself, you can start climbing and start at least winning a lot of games and having a lot more fun with a slightly more coordinated team. Now, to my second tip that I think is important, it is to play the easiest meta heroes. And this will change from meta to meta. I guess I'll use the current meta heroes. If you're in a game of Overwatch competitive, or if you're going to play a game, which hero should you be playing? Should you be playing Widowmaker and Hanzo, or should you be playing somebody like Brigitte or Pharah? Probably Brigitte or Pharah, because they are, simply put, easier to play in most situations. It's a little bit harder to counter these heroes, and as well, you'll be able to pull out a lot more out of their kit in a shorter amount of time. Now, if you do have the willpower to put in a lot of hours with Hanzo, or with any of the flankers in the game, or with Widowmaker, then sure, yes, go for those heroes. But if you're just hoping to switch around your heroes all the time and just have a lot of fun with the game, but still get a lot of wins, playing those hard carry heroes won't really work out for you. They do require a lot of time, a lot of practice, and for most players, that's probably not exactly what you are willing to put into the game, which is completely fine. But you should realize what you are willing to put into the game. Do you want to have a ton of hours in it? Do you want to keep playing at this point? Or do you just want to have some fun and just want to be able to carry a few games when you go in? That's what you really have to think about. Now, again, this will kind of depend from meta to meta, but by this point, you probably know what are some of the easier heroes, what are some of the high skill cap heroes. And, you can just go on, like, overbuff.com, look at win rates, and kind of figure it out from there. Overall, yeah, again, this does change from meta to meta, but I think this is something, a principle that you should keep in mind. You get in what you put out, and you should really think what you want to get, what you want to put in, and what you want to get out. Now, to the third thing I have to say right here, and that's to simply play around your supports and try to keep your supports alive. Now, again, depending from meta to meta, supports become less or more important, but I think we can all agree that supports generally are one of the most important classes in the entire game. Sure, they don't do way too much damage. I mean, right now they kind of do, but sometimes they don't do way too much damage, and, you know, they are kind of squishy, so they're kind of hard to protect, and a lot of them don't have too many easy getaways. But if you can keep your support lives longer than the enemies can keep their support alive, a lot of the times that lifeline is just going to make you straight up win the team fight. And I think that's something a lot of people kind of underestimate. Now, let's give an example right here. Let's say you're playing D.Va and you have two choices. Should you be playing up in the front line, supplying a decent amount of damage up there, but probably not getting any kills, or playing pretty close to the mid line and be able to protect your supports if they need the help? Well, it does depend on the situation, and yeah, if they don't have any flankers on the enemy team, probably in the front line is where you should be. But otherwise, playing a little bit further back and playing to kind of protect your supports and body block them and make so that they aren't getting picked and so that they aren't dying, that is, in most cases, a little bit better of an idea. Now, I know that this might feel like you cannot carry a game like this because you're not getting any kills, so, yep, you can't carry a game without kills. But honestly, as a lot of the supports protecting the other supports, or a lot of tanks protecting these supports, just having more healing per second coming out right now is extremely important in this meta. And if you're the one with that, even if you aren't exploiting tons of damage, healing beats damage right now in this current meta. And if you're keeping your healing up, you're keeping a lot of your lifeline up, you're keeping your wins up. And I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind. As well, if you are playing a DPS that can theoretically kill the enemy DPS that keeps running back into your supports, like let's say a Reaper or a Tracer, you should try to play somewhat close to them. If you're playing McCree, or if you're playing, for example, you know, Hanzo, and you think you're pretty good at hitting other DPS, keeping in mind your supports is very important as well. But I think especially if you're playing tank or support, yeah, look at the other supports in mind and keep them going. Now, to my fourth tip right here, it's going to be to focus on your ultimate usage, and mainly focus on your teammates' ultimate usage as well. Now, hopefully by now, you have a pretty good idea when to use your ultimate, and essentially that is, don't ever use it by yourself. That's kind of how it works. There are some really specific moments when you should be using your ultimate and when you shouldn't be using your ultimate, and, you know, you should just use it. Viewer discretion is advised here, but using it by yourself in most situations will just lead to a wasted ultimate, and then probably just lead to your teammates then using their ultimates by themselves, and then back to you using your ultimate by yourself, and you eventually don't get any combos, and eventually the enemy team combos their ultimates and you lose. That's what happens a lot of the times, and ultimates are probably one of the most important things in Overwatch to finally get down. So what do you want to do to not waste all these? Well, first off, of course, yeah, look at your own ultimate usage. Make sure to save it. I mean, you can look at your teammates and see how close their ultimates are to being up. And as well, if your teammates go for pretty okay to mediocre ultimates, but you think you can make so that their ultimates will really be worthwhile, use your ultimate there as well. This could be a Zen that does a, you know, half decent ult, but really doesn't do way too much. Maybe if you're Soldier, you can use yours and kind of help it out, and maybe win a team fight with that. But as well, yeah, don't waste your ultimate by yourself, and please call out for your teammates to save their ults for you. If your ult is at like 75% and you have two teammate ults up, if you can just keep telling them, hey guys, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second, especially if they're playing Zarya, for example, then you might, by that alone, have won yourself the game. And, you know, ultimates, I think, just gain more and more value the lower elo you get, because picks become a little bit less common, and, you know, ultimates are the things that will always be there and will always be getting kills. So please pay attention to those and start to do as well as you can by saving yours and helping your teammates use theirs effectively. Now, again, a lot of people won't be in voice chat, a lot of people won't listen, but the least you can do is at least save yours for when other people use theirs. If you're not at least doing that, start doing that right now. And now, the final thing that I think honestly will help yourself carry teams in lower elo is by duo queuing with a decent player. Now, there's a lot of players in lower elo that just don't really know what they're doing, but in a lot of games, you'll just be playing by solo queue and find a pretty decent player on your team or the enemy team. Now, this could be a DPS, a support, a tank, whatever. Add those players every single game. They don't have to be super good smurfs. They don't have to be, you know, people from top 500 or diamond in your games. No, it can just be people that you think are pretty good. Add those players and then start playing with them, and mainly start playing around them. Again, if you're a tank or support main, this is probably the easiest thing, but even if they're, you know, a support main or tank main and you're DPS main, this could also work pretty well. Pocket them, protect them, and engage with them. And again, if you're the DPS main, still, you can protect the other support or the tank, and you can still engage with the tank, or sometimes engage with the support if they're playing Vegeta. overall, I think duo queuing with other players, with players that you know are pretty good, with players that you can really trust and that you can go in with, that is the best way to get out of lower elo, and that is the best way to start carrying yourself and carrying other people with you, and I think it's the best way to have fun as well. So overall, a triple whammy, and if you aren't doing this by now, start doing it. And if you don't have a mic to do this, buy a $10 mic. It'll be worth your effort. With that all said though, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Tell me down below what you do to help yourself carry some games in lower elo, and if you've ever done some of this stuff in the past. As always, guys, though, thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day.